Hello Chess Universe, welcome to another video from Chess for You. Today we're going to be looking at a game played in 1942 between Walter Foldeak and F Nagy. So today I'm going to show you a chess miniature with a picturesque end to it. So without further ado, let's quickly get into the game. Walter with the white pieces opens up with e4. Nagy goes for c5. So we have the Sicilian defense on the board. Knight to f3, knight to c6, a d4, striking the center, c takes, knight takes. Pretty standard stuff here in the Sicilian defense, nothing out of the ordinary. Black continues with a knight to f6 attacking e4, a knight c3 defending it. Black continues with a d6, opening up lines for your light square bishop and probably thinking of the e5 pawn push. White develops his dark square bishop with bishop to g5, also attacking the knight. Black goes for a6, taking away this critical b5 square, without which white would have developed this light square bishop to b5 and also execute this pin, which would be very problemsome for black because you also have this knight adding pressure. So that's the significance of a6, which takes away the critical b5 square. You would usually see this in most of the Sicilian openings even now, right? White continues with a queen to d2, enabling queenside castle and probably in the future. And here black actually went for knight back to d7, probably thinking of rerouting the knight to these two outposts. Now this is an inaccuracy or a mistake, I should say, because this violates a well-known opening principle in chess, which states that you do not move the same pieces twice in the openings unless it is essential. But I'm of the opinion that this move was not necessary. For that, I'm sure black would be paying the price eventually down the line. White continues with a bishop to e2, gaining a wider scope for the light square bishop. Ideally, in this position, it's best advised to go for h6, poking the bishop and trying to chase away this bishop, because if you guys see, this bishop is placed on an apt diagonal actually. Because let's try to understand the significance of this bishop. This bishop is actually pinning the e7 pawn, which is actually preventing the e7 pawn from moving towards the center, which is a weakness in the black's position, because ideally you want to have your centralized the center pawns, the d and the e pawns, in the center, right? Or at least contributing towards the center. But clearly the black's e7 pawn is not doing its task. So that's the reason you should ideally go for h6 in this position. But instead, black goes for g6, probably thinking of fianchettoing the dark square bishop on the dragon diagonal. So white continues with knight to d5. As discussed, you would want to add more pressure on the weakness, especially in the opening. So if you guys spot a weakness, just put a lot of pressure on it. So that should be one of the ways of going forward if you do not know how to proceed further in a game, right? And ideally, ideal way of black continuation probably would be to develop your knight to c5 and then maybe get your light square bishop into the action, then kick away this knight. So one of the way wherein you can actually remove the attackers. But instead, black doesn't go for this. He went for f6, which is a mistake. And I want you guys to pause the video and think of a good continuation for, or a forced continuation, I should say, for white, starting from now. Okay, I hope you guys were able to find the move, and the move is knight to e6, attacking the queen. And the queen goes to the only available square because these squares are being taken care by these knights. Man, these knights of white are being sent out to do a job on black. In any case, let's continue. You should continue with a knight to c7, check, and of course you won't be able to take because you have this knight defending the other knight, like brothers, right? And clearly black does not have this square because this square is being taken care by this knight. So black goes to the only square available, and then you're supposed to continue with knight to d8 check. Again, you're free to take this, but you would be losing queen in the next move. So black doesn't want to part ways to his queen. So he went for the, of course, these two squares are being, completely occupied by the knights, and of course the king is in check, and the king goes to g7. I hope you guys can spot the finish, the picturesque end as we discussed in the beginning, and that's knight to e8. Not a checkmate, but a check. I say it's picturesque because this is the end of the game. It's not a checkmate. However, I want you guys to understand that the knights are placed in the queen and the king square, and that's the end. There is a mate in 4 or 3, depending on what black plays. Of course, black realized this, and it was in this position that black resigned the game. If I have to show you the continuation, black king goes to the only square available, which is the g8 square. Then you can go for bishop c4 check. You can do nothing about it. You can just prolong the mate by advancing the pawn. And again, after bishop takes, maybe you can give away your queen after queen takes. Again, it's still not checkmate. You can advance the pawn, and now it's checkmate. So of course, black did not want to do this, right? And it was in this position that black resigned the game. So I hope you guys found this video informative. If you do, please hit the like, subscribe, to comment if you want to share some feedback. And I will see you all in another video. Please stay tuned. Thank you.